You to just really chime in from your perspective. How has this truly shifted your view of America?
I appreciate Dante's definition of a racial terrorist, and that includes white people who are indifferent to the torture of Black people, and just thinking about how all white people are implicated, and thinking about the white mobs and the lynchings and the massacres of hundreds of innocent Black people, whether it's for voting rights or for organizing for farm action, whether it's for any crime that was arbitrarily made up by white people just to torture Black people, and how entire white communities showed up to lynchings, to massacres, as a social activity, as a religious activity, showing up in Sunday church clothes, children smiling at cameras while Black bodies hang from trees burning. I believe that white people have traded in our morality and humanity for white power, and that's the state that we're living in.
Feel this looks now in modern day America when it comes to all of this lack of equality for women and how white women are responding and kind of leaving you behind?
I think it's important to begin this discussion by saying that white women had no rights. Any rights that they gained were given to them by white men. It's important to understand that under the laws of coverture, European men had the legal right to inflict violence onto their wives, onto their children. But this particular iteration was something that was already normalized in the European customs. They then had the jurisdiction and the full authority to ensure that we were not able to react or respond through the legal process to all of the horrific abuses that were inflicted upon us. And so it was exponentially worse for Black women.
There's this pecking order, right, where there's white men at the top, white women, Black men, Black women. And I think what had happened is the socialization of white women into violence by their partners or significant others, their lack of rights. They then inflicted that same violence and pain towards Black men and Black women. So I think sometimes in these conversations, we often leave out white women because of their subjugation. And yes, that is a huge part of what has happened to them as well. I don't want to be insensitive to that. And I also want to hold them accountable for the ways that they participated in racism as well, and enslavement and abuse and the rape of Black boys and Black women too.
How does the socio-political experiences of white differ from Blacks?
In one frame, the sociological ideas that have been created about Black people, projected onto Black people, but also that have been created to establish and define who white people are and how they see themselves. When we talk about how that feeds into the political, white people as a political organization are ascribed rights, privileges, advantages. So race as a political variable serves them for the purposes of the positions that they take as individuals, as well as a collective group. So when we talk about how whiteness serves white people sociopolitically, I'm inclined to think about one of the articles I referenced in my book as it pertains to this white guy, John Corcoran. He was incapable of reading. And in this article, he says, at teacher conferences, my teacher told my parents, he's a smart boy, he'll get it. And they moved me on to the 3rd grade. As a white boy being moved through an educational system that says you actually have to demonstrate that you're capable of reading, writing, arithmetic, right? He didn't have to be capable of any of that. And the teachers maintained that he was a smart boy. Which Black children do you know that in the face of their inability to demonstrate that they can read, they would have a belief maintained about them that they are smart children? It does not work that way for us. Dr. Amos Wilson told us, we have a school system that is based upon the psychology of white children and white people. If we are trying to educate our children in that system, they are bound to fail. The very structure of the educational system itself is based upon a white model, and therefore it has a built-in failure mechanism for Black children, one way or the other. Dr. Bobby Wright told us, in their relationship with the Black race, whites are psychopaths, and their behavior represents an underlying biologically transmitted proclivity with roots deep in their evolutionary history. The psychopath is an individual who is constantly in conflict with other persons or groups. He is unable to experience guilt, is completely selfish and callous, and has a total disregard for the rights of others. One of the best methods that can be used to measure the psychopathic traits of the white race is observing and analyzing their universal overt behaviors and attitudes towards Black people. Psychopaths simply ignore the concept of right and wrong. By ignoring this trait in the white race, the lack of ethical and moral development, Blacks have made and are still making a tragic mistake in basing the worldwide Black liberation movement on moral suasion. It is pathological for Black people to keep attempting to use moral suasion on a people who have no morality, where race is the variable.
Acclaimed author Dante King invites you to purchase his book, Diagnosing Whiteness and Anti-Blackness, by going to his website, www.danteking.com, or Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and any other major book retailer.
Black men are experiencing, after slavery, things like convict leasing, being pursued by the legal system to be put back into another form of enslavement. They are coming up missing, they're being murdered, being lynched by the dozens, and there's just no protection for Black women. Black men cannot protect Black women. And then there are many situations where there's so much violence that unfolds and emerges within the Black family as a result of the white violence that's being done onto Black men and Black women, because now these Black men have nowhere to put their violence other than into their families. And so the children are beaten, the partners are abused. And so what are the results of white violence? What are the results of white predation? We see those results manifesting infinitely in the Black community. Everything that we are, everything that we became, we've gotten it from white people out of their playbook. All of these things were handed to us. And it is important that we put these things into its proper context. Otherwise, we find ourselves blaming Black people for all of the problems and issues that we see manifesting within and throughout the Black community today and in the past, previously.
The author of the book some time to speak directly to the audience. Tell them what you know they need to hear, and the takeaway from these 10 episodes that wonderfully, thoughtfully, and lovingly unpack the chapters of your work.
The last thing that I would like to leave all of you with is a call to action. Read the book, study the book with your friends and family. Take it one chapter at a time and highlight, read, reread the information contained in each of the chapters, as well as the reflection questions that are at the end of each chapter, because we have to understand we've normalized violence against African American people. We have lost all regard of our humanity towards African American people. This is a call to action to regain a sense of your own humanity in regards to how you come to knowing, understanding, making meaning about who you are in relationship to Black people, and how have you been tainted and corrupted by white rulership and white racial control. This is a lifetime journey for me. I know that I will be in recovery from white supremacy and anti-Blackness throughout my entire life. And so I'm calling us to be greater people, greater advocates for each other, greater in our understanding. So thank you so much for being a part of this experience. I hope it serves you well. I hope it serves your family well. I hope you can go out and be recommitted to supporting, uplifting, believing Black people. Thank you.